Let's begin with all the updates that have come in on the story that dominated headlines on Wednesday. A massive security breach in the Prime Minister's convoy that's triggered an explosive flashpoint. India Today's investigation has now revealed that while the Punjab government claimed it had no idea about the farmers' movement on the flyover, the protesters knew every detail about the Prime Minister's motorcade and where it was headed. Manjeet Sehgal brings us this report.
The Prime Minister of India stranded on a flyover in Punjab, exposed to potential threats for a whole 20 minutes. A massive breach of Prime Minister's security.
और प्रधानमंत्री जी का जब रूट लगता है उस रूट के अंदर कोई सिक्योरिटी स्टेट देती है, उसके अंदर कोई अवरोध नहीं हो सकता, वो लगातार चलते रहने वाला है। 15 मिनट उनकी गाड़ी खड़ी रही है और उसके बाद कोटपुल से उनकी गाड़ी को वापस जाना पड़ा। और उसके अलावा सबसे बड़ी बात कि उन्होंने भटिंडा जाकर एयरपोर्ट से बोला कि आप अपने मुख्यमंत्री को धन्यवाद देना कि मैं जिंदा भटिंडा लौट आया हूँ।
And now, explosive revelations that will leave you stunned. India Today has found that farmer protesters from nearby Misriwala and Pyarewala villages knew every movement of Prime Minister Modi's convoy.
कोई जानकारी नहीं मिली जी किसी वालों सानू तो जानकारी साडे फोनां तो साडे ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੀਵੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੈਨਲ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਚੈਨਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਬਠਿੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਲੈਂਡ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਬਠਿੰਡੇ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਆ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤੱਕ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਇਲਟ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਵੀ ਗਾਂ ਬਾਰਿਸ਼ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪਾਇਲਟ ਦਾ ਗਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਗਾਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਆ
The seriousness of the situation can be gauged by the fact that the protesters knew that Prime Minister Modi's cavalcade was moving on the Husainwala road.
ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫਿਰੋਜ਼ਪੁਰ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਪੀਐਮ ਮੋਦੀ ਕੋਲੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੱਡਾ ਰੋਡ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਰੋਡ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਮੋਗਾ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਹਾਈਵੇ ਆ
Sources telling us that the Punjab government has already conveyed to the union government that the allegations of security breach are not true and adequate number of police officials were deployed in and around Firozpur. Punjab government spokesperson Dr. Rajkumar Verka has said that there was no information about Prime Minister's movement on road as he was scheduled to use the chopper to reach the Husainiwala.
The admission by farmers contradicts claims made by Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi at a press meet on Wednesday. He had claimed his government was informed of the change in plan by the centre.
Total program ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਠਿੰਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰੋਜ਼ਪੁਰ ਜਾਣ ਦਾ ਬਾਈ 에ਅਰ ਸੀ 3 ਹਵਾਈ ਅੱਡੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹੈਲੀਪੈਡ ਉਹ ਫਿਰੋਜ਼ਪੁਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣਾਏ ਗਏ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲਿਖਤੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸੋਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬਾਈ ਰੋਡ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ
The CM went one step further in his media meet. Channi said he wouldn't order a crackdown on farmers even if they blocked the PM's convoy.
वो एक राजनीति नहीं थी वो उनका एजिटेशन पीसफुल एजिटेशन था यहाँ भी पीसफुल एजिटेशन था रात हमने एजिटेशन उठाया था अचानक कोई आकर बैठ गया तो उसमें कोई ये नहीं है कि जी किसी को खतरा था
The BJP claims the protesters had also stopped vehicles ferrying party workers who were going to attend Prime Minister's rally. The Punjab government has so far taken no action against police officials who failed to sanitize the roads ahead of Prime Minister's visit. The doublespeak raises several questions. How did farmers know of the change in Prime Minister's travel plans? How did protesters appear on flyover if they were evacuated by Punjab police? The Punjab police have a lot to answer. With Manjeet Sehgal, Bureau Report, India Today.
So clearly there was a major security breach for Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Punjab. The Prime Minister's convoy had to make an abrupt stop at a flyover after protesters had completely blocked it. India Today breaks down the details for you, the exact sequence and chain of events.
It was supposed to be the Prime Minister's first rally in Punjab after the 3 farm laws were revoked. The rally in Firozpur was also seen as kick-starting the BJP's campaign in poll-bound Punjab.
ये कार्यक्रम को हम पोस्टपोन कर रहे हैं और फिर आने वाले दिनों में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इच्छा रखी है कि आप सबके बीच में वो अवश्य आएंगे.
But in a major breach to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's security, the convoy had to stop on a flyover for 20 minutes, after it was found that some protesters were blocking the highway. This happened 30 kilometers away from National Martyrs Memorial in Hossainiwala in Punjab. The original plan was for Prime Minister Modi to travel by helicopter from Bhatinda, but due to bad weather, it was decided that he would go by road. According to the Home Ministry, the PM embarked on the road trip after the DGP Punjab confirmed necessary security arrangements. But midway on a flyover, Prime Minister's convoy had to make an abrupt stop after protesters blocked the road. After a 20-minute wait, the Prime Minister's convoy returned to Bhatinda Airport. At Bhatinda, the Prime Minister took a pot shot at the Congress government, telling airport officials to thank CM Channi that he had got back alive. What makes this breach extremely serious is the fact that Prime Minister is a maximum security protectee. His convoy path is sanitized in advance, and any unplanned stops by convoy is banned. With Kamaljeet Sandhu and Manjeet Sehgal in Punjab, Bureau Report, India Today.
The national capital has again reported a huge surge in its COVID tally, over 10,000 cases. Delhi has reported 10,665 fresh cases in a single day, a 94% rise from its Tuesday's tally of 5,481. With this surge, active cases in the capital breached the 23,000 mark. The last time the national capital reported over 10,000 cases was 238 days ago. The positivity rate in the city has now reached 11.88%. This means in every 100 people tested, nearly 12 people were found to be positive. With cases surging, the Delhi government has directed major private hospitals to ramp up their infrastructure and ensure that 40% of their beds are reserved for COVID patients. Moreover, from tomorrow, weekend curfew will kick off in Delhi. And it's not just Delhi, but in Mumbai too, that there is a massive COVID surge. Over 15,000 infections with 3 deaths were reported in Mumbai in the last 24 hours. And clearly there's no end to the COVID crisis in the city. Mumbai has reported nearly 50,000 cases in the last 5 days. So the positivity rate is now near 20%, which means 20 out of every 100 people are testing positive now. The virus hasn't spared our frontline workers. Nearly 160 resident doctors in Mumbai have also tested positive for coronavirus in the last 3 days. Mumbai has over 35,487 beds available for COVID patients, out of which 14.4% of the beds are occupied by patients so far. Now, to stop the spread of the virus, the Maharashtra government has already imposed a night curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., which will remain in effect till the 15th of January. Restaurants, bars are all operating at 50% of seating capacity. Section 144 has been imposed in Mumbai till 7th January, so that's till tomorrow. Maximum 50 people are allowed in closed spaces, marriages, religious as well as political events.
Restrictions के बारे में हम लॉकडाउन यह परिभाषा अभी करने वाले भी नहीं है और लॉकडाउन का आज इमीडिएटली सोचने वाला बात भी नहीं है, लेकिन निश्चित तौर पर रेस्ट्रिक्शंस को और ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट करना यानी जो निर्बंध लगाए गए उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना ये चैलेंजिंग काम है और ये होना ज़रूरी है।
हमने 15 फरवरी तक कॉलेजेस बंद करने का निर्णय लिया है, ऑनलाइन एग्ज़ाम करने का भी निर्णय लिया है और ये मैं अकेले ने निर्णय नहीं किया है। कल हमारे सब जो महाराष्ट्र के जिलाधिकारी है, हमारे कमिश्नर लोग हैं, उनके साथ हमने बातचीत की, उन्होंने फाइनल किया कि ऐसा करना ही उचित रहेगा। और मेरे ख्याल से जो हमारा स्टाफ है, शिक्षक है, शिक्षकेतर कर्मचारी है, उनको भी 50% महाविद्यालय में या विद्यापीठ में लाया जाएगा और रोटेशन से उनको काम दिया जाएगा।
As India is witnessing this steep rise in cases of the Omicron variant of coronavirus, the centre has said that treatment protocols for COVID and Delta will apply for the Omicron variant as well. What exactly is the treatment protocol? We break that down for you.
It has been 6 weeks since the world came to know of Omicron, the 5th variant of concern in the ongoing pandemic. And 6 weeks on, the hunt continues worldwide to find ways to tackle it. Medical experts are of the view that Pfizer's Paxlovid appears to be the best bet to reduce deaths, hospitalizations if cases are serious. Paxlovid has been authorized by the US FDA for emergency use in both high-risk adults and child patients over 12. Pfizer says it's scaling up production to provide 10 million treatment courses to the US government as America battles an unprecedented surge of about 1 million cases a day. So what does India do since 2 of the 3 drugs showing promise are not available here?
Patients with mild to moderate COVID-19, but with risk factors that put them at high risk for progressing to severe COVID-19. These agents include 2 oral drugs, Molnupiravir, which is available in India, Paxlovid by Pfizer, which is currently not available in India, and Sotrovimab, which is a monoclonal antibody therapy that is unfortunately also not available in India. It's not to be confused with Regencov, the monoclonal antibody cocktail, which is available in India and which is not proven to work against the Omicron variant. These agents, especially Paxlovid and Sotrovimab, are likely to be in short supply.
How really will these pills reach India, especially the one that has been developed by Pfizer? Well, Pfizer for once has allowed the generic manufacturing of these pills to many companies across the world, including some companies in India. In India and outside of India also, eventually this will reach the population, but this will take some time. Pfizer estimates that gradually it will reach about 53% of the global population across 95 countries.
Indian pharma giants Sun, Optimus and Dr. Reddy's labs have signed an agreement to produce the Pfizer pill, for which trials have been held. The trials will likely be on the lines of Molnupiravir, the COVID-19 antiviral drug that has been authorized in India.
The currently available monoclonal antibodies are unlikely to be effective against the Omicron variant. There are new antibodies in development, and of course we'll see as they see the light of the day, and they are targeted specifically against domains on variants of concern like Omicron.
The government has warned that this drug has to be used with caution and hasn't been inducted in the treatment protocol yet.
This drug has major safety concerns. It can cause teratogenicity and what you have mentioned, mutagenicity, and it also can cause cartilage damage and can also be damaging to muscles also. Contraception will have to be done for 3 months if this drug is given for male and female, because the child born could be problematic with teratogenic influences.
Experts say that the treatment protocol will evolve but is unlikely to change drastically.
Since the Omicron variant has substantially changed the tip of its spike protein, the earlier monoclonal antibodies will not work against this one. But there is evidence that Sotrovimab, which is another monoclonal antibody, which is used in Western nations, is still effective against the Omicron variant.
The government has also cautioned people into rushing into treatment like during the second wave.
जो भी नॉन ऑथेंटिक और नॉन एविडेंस बेस्ड ट्रीटमेंट प्रोटोकॉल होगा वह पेशेंट को हार्म कर सकता है। हमें यह ध्यान रखना है कि हम टेस्ट और ट्रीटमेंट वही लें जो कि हमारे ट्रीटिंग डॉक्टर द्वारा एडवाइस किए जाएं। हम सेल्फ मेडिकेशन की तरफ ना जाएं।
And there's no need to rush to hospitals in panic. Do so only if you have difficulty in breathing, severe fatigue and body ache, and very high temperature. In New Delhi with Sneha Modani, Bureau Report, India Today.
$123 more passengers on the Cordelia cruise ship have tested positive for COVID. The RT-PCR results of over 800 are expected to be released soon. This cruise party turned COVID hotspot is now being closely monitored by the BMC.
A New Year bash has turned into a COVID cluster. When passengers boarded the luxury Cordelia cruise and set sail from Mumbai to Goa, little did they know that along with 2022, they would ring in COVID horror on board. Nearly 200 passengers have tested positive for COVID on the ship till now. On Tuesday, as the ship returned to Mumbai, BMC officials got to work testing everyone on board except the 66 who were already confirmed positive. A lab which collected 995 samples confirmed 123 more people to be positive for COVID. A second lab which took 832 tests will release RT-PCR results soon. Swab collection started on Tuesday evening and went on till 5 a.m. on Wednesday. The horror for the cruise passengers started on January 2nd when one of the 2016 passengers and crew members on board tested positive. 24 hours later, the number rose to 66 positive patients. With no permission to dock in Goa, passengers were left stranded. Now back in Mumbai, the passengers who tested positive have two options. Either isolation at a government facility or paid quarantine at a hotel. 60 of the initial 66 passengers are admitted to the Richardson and Crudas Jumbo COVID Center in Mumbai's Baikola and various other hotels. The BMC has disallowed any passenger to disembark without a negative RT-PCR result. Passengers who test negative will be taken on buses to their homes or airport or railway stations. Bureau Report, India Today.
The election season is upon us, and that's why the Election Commission is likely to announce poll dates for 5 states very, very soon. The 5 states are Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa, Punjab and Manipur. They're slated to go for polls in the next few months. A high-level meeting between the Election Commission and Health Ministry is expected to take place today because it's happening, of course, amid a pandemic. India Today has learned that a 6 to 8 phase election is likely to be conducted in Uttar Pradesh, a 3-phase poll in Punjab, 2-phase election in Manipur and single-phase polls in Uttarakhand and Goa. Chasing 240 for victory in the Johannesburg test, South Africa have their noses well in front. The hosts need only 122 more runs for victory to level the series ahead of the final test. While India started on the front foot on day 3, Captain Dean Elgar's dogged resistance ensured the visitors ended the day in the ascendancy.
Shorter. Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane started where they left off. The two Indian stalwarts kept the scoreboard ticking at a good click, bringing up their respective half-centuries. Both put together a 100-run stand and just when it looked they would run away with the game, South Africa struck.
That is a beauty. That.
Rahane was caught behind for 58, and then Pujara was adjudged plumb in front 2 overs later.
He's given him.
Rishabh Pant once again disappointed by getting out for naught, and Ashwin hit a couple of boundaries before he too was caught down the leg side.
Down the leg side is the...
Shardul Thakur then decided to take the attack to South Africa. He smashed a number of boundaries before it became one shot too many as he was caught in the deep.
Short ball.
Even as wickets kept tumbling at the other end, Hanuma Vihari chauffeured the tail to add valuable runs at the end.
Intense battle.
India eventually were bowled out for 266, setting South Africa a target of 240 runs.
To win the match.
In reply, South Africa started brightly, with Aiden Markram putting his poor form behind to play some exquisite shots.
That is a beautiful shot.
Like in the first innings, it was Shardul Thakur who provided India with the crucial breakthrough. But replicating their solidity from the first innings were captain Dean Elgar and Keegan Peterson, who put together 46 runs for the second wicket.
That is a wonderful...
While Ashwin broke the all-important partnership, the dogged resistance continued in the form of Elgar and Van der Dusen. Both ensured the hosts went into stumps unscathed and are currently in the driving seat. They have 8 wickets in hand and need only 122 runs for victory. A stern test awaits India on day 4.
Absorbing Test cricket.
Sports Bureau, India Today.